Greetings. Peace be with you. Hope that you're staying strong. Hope that you're continuing to evolve. Hope that you are making those improvements in your mind, in your body, in your spirit. I hope that you are constantly moving towards the truth, right? Because there is so much information out there. There is so much stuff that's really vying for our attention, right? We live in the age of information. There is so much stuff out there. It's so easy to get distracted, but the true power really comes down when you know where to focus, right? Because more information is not what you need. What you need is the focus on the information that actually helps you and moves you towards your goals, right? And there's so many distractions out there right now, right? Like, especially during the situation that we're living in right now, it's like what's true, what's not true. And the reality is that what meets the eye, what is at the surface, is just the effect, right? What we see in the observable world is just the effect, right? What is actually causing that effect? And this is something that I've looked back at my own life as well as I dig deeper into my own journey and get awareness on why I do what I do and why I am where I am, right? Because at the end of the day, there's like two perspectives that you can have. The first perspective is the victim paradigm. Oh, things are the way that they are. I am the way that I am. My life is the way that it is. And there is nothing that I can actually do about it to change it. I need to rely on this, that, and the other thing to actually make ends meet. I have excuses. I blame things. I complain about the way that things are, but I never take responsibility for actually changing the things in my life, right? That is the victim paradigm. That is the victim consciousness. And at the end of the day, it's like I mean at this point I don't find myself in that situation, but there was a time when I was still awakening, when I was still waking up to my own power, which really comes from taking responsibility, right? As I think it was Aunt May who told Peter Parker, she's like, "Yo, with great responsibility comes great power," right? No, no, what am I saying? She said, "With great power comes great responsibility," and it's true when we flip that on its head because with great responsibility comes great power as well, right? That is what, in my view, is Christ consciousness, right? The metaphor of the Christ who took responsibility for the sins of the world, and he is really the ultimate projection of the divine, right, in human form. And if we can begin to embody that mentality as well, to take responsibility for everything in our lives, that is when we begin to transcend the victim consciousness into the creator consciousness, right? What does it mean to be a creator? It means that, okay, I am responsible for where I am, and therefore I have the power to change the direction that in which I'm headed right now, right? Understand that where you are right now is less important than where you're headed, right? Because the past, you can't change it. It's already happened, right? You can only change your perception of it to actually extract the maximum amount of wisdom from it, right? The present, like, this is something that I think about a lot as well. It's like, oh yeah, the only thing that's real is the present moment. Be here, right now is the only thing that's real. But how long does a moment truly last? It lasts but a moment, right? So, really, the true power comes in knowing the future, right? In the Bible, they say that without the vision, the people will perish, right? If you don't have a vision for who you seek to become, then that is when we become susceptible to the influences outside of us, right? We become susceptible to the fear, we become susceptible to the distractions, and we ourselves tend to get lost in the sauce, so to say, right? Because we're not clear on where we're headed right now. So everything changed in my life when I began to develop a vision of the type of person who I seek to become, right? Of course, it starts with what you want, right? What is it that you seek to achieve? What is it that you seek to accomplish with regards to the big areas in your life, with your health, with your finances, with your relationships, right? And then that's like step number one. And then step number two is like, okay, why do I actually want these things, right? Digging deep into why you want those things is perhaps the most important thing, okay? Because reasons come before results. And if you don't have reasons strong enough for why you want to achieve the results that you want, then you'll get lost in the sauce. You'll get lost with the distractions. You'll get lost with the roadblocks, right? You end up just giving up because your reasons are not strong enough to keep on going, right? Now, the third aspect, which is perhaps the most important, it is who you need to become, right? Because look, the reality is that there is a lot of pressure, okay? And most of that pressure just comes from us exerting it on ourselves, right? Because the world in itself is completely neutral. But when I look at the stats, when I look at the reality that suicide is one of the leading causes of death, that truly blows my mind. But I can't deny that I've had those thoughts as well, okay? And I've talked to a lot of people who've had those thoughts as well, right? It's like people who are afraid of heights. It's like, why are they afraid of heights? Like, even with me, it's like sometimes I go on a high balcony and it's just like this thought that, okay, I can just jump over, right? There's just inkling, and that just makes you feel some type of way, right? Now, this feeling comes up for a lot of people that I've talked to. I've seen it in my own experience, right? So this feeling is not like nothing rare, but when someone actually acts on that feeling and takes their own life, that is very, very scary, okay? Because the way I look at it, it's like, okay, I have this thoughts of, taking my life, right? But what is that truly a signal towards? It's a signal towards becoming something more, right? The life of the butterfly has to no the life of the caterpillar has to end in order for the life of the butterfly to begin, right? So, starting with what you want, why you want it, and then who you need to become in order to deserve that thing that you want, right? Increasing our deserving power. And that is where I think the line is drawn, right? It's like having these thoughts is not something that's rare. It's not something that only a particular amount of people have. It's very, very common, considering that suicide is even the leading cause of death. Like, clearly people are actually acting on it. But what if rather than that, it was like you have to kill off this old version of yourself who's not worthy of the future that you seek to create, who is not capable of creating the life that you seek to create, right? Killing off this old version of yourself so that you can create the space for this new version to be born, right? What if that was the reality? What if that is what our emotions was telling us, right? Because we have to really become someone else to achieve the goals which we seek to achieve. We literally have to recreate ourselves. We literally have to become someone else in order to achieve the goals that we want. Because who you are right now is not capable of what you seek to achieve. If it were, then you would have already achieved it, right? So we literally have to become someone else, and getting clear on who that person looks like, right? Embodying those emotions, embodying that body language, like embodying that, state of expression that allows us to actually become the type of person that deserves what we want in life, right? And that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. Who do you need to be in order to create the life that you seek to create? That is the most important question. And the more we can actually live into that vision, the more we can make our decisions based on that vision rather than based on how we feel right now in the moment. Because in the moment, there could be so many different factors that influence how we feel. And when we make decisions based on how we feel, then that how we feel ends up dictating who we are, right? Because we make decisions, we vote for the type of person that we're becoming with our decisions. And when we make our decisions based on how we feel, which is determined by factors outside of us, then we literally allow factors outside of us to control who we are. But when we allow that vision that we sat down and really thought about who we seek to become, the type of life that we seek to create, the type of relations that we seek to cultivate, the type of body that we seek to create, right? Whatever it is, once we start with that vision and then allow that to dictate our day-to-day decisions, that is when everything begins to change, right? That is when, even though we might not feel like getting up in the morning, even though we might not feel like going to the gym, even though we might not feel like reading that book, even though we might not feel like giving up that sugar, whatever it is, that doesn't matter, because that feeling is really the old self clinging on to this identity, right? And the more we can actually let go of that identity, the more we can make our decisions based on who we seek to become, the more we actually bend the structure of reality according to our favor, right? That's what it means to be disciplined, to value the future over the present, to give up that short-term gratification for that long-term gain. And if we can do that at every single moment, if we can consistently and predictably do the right thing over the easy thing, that is when life begins to happen for us, right? That is when life begins to happen by us. And eventually that's where we begin to experience those higher emotions, knowing that we are the creators, knowing that we have the power to choose the way that we seek to show up, to choose our experience, right? Because at the end of the day, like, control is an illusion. And when you give yourself that illusion of choice, it's like, what is the illusion of choice? It's like, I don't have a choice. It's already made based on the type of person I seek to become, right? Even though I don't feel like doing it, that's just an emotion, right? I'm not gonna act on it because I've already determined the type of person who I seek to become, right? So hope that you got value from that video, something I've been thinking about a lot, because there's resistance, there is this clinging, there is this propensity to just hold on. Okay, no, just today I'm not gonna do. I'm just last time I'm gonna look at my phone first thing in the morning. And when you don't do it, then that's like a vote for the type of person who you seek to become, the type of person that is worthy of achieving the goals that you seek to accomplish. Okay, so with that, I conclude this video. I hope that you got value from it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment below letting me know what you're up to. I'd love to communicate with you. Join the Facebook group. Okay, that is where I am very active. I'll leave a link for that below as well. But like I said, I hope that you got value. I hope you got value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.